Hey guys, Brian coming at you from the great state of Louisiana, Cajun Cardboard with another edition of 555, where we look at 5 cards that have gone up over the last quarter, 5 cards that have gone down over the last quarter, and then we're going to spend a few minutes just looking at the general overall index, which has turned into an absolute bloodbath. There is no way for me to sugarcoat this. The only way I can sugarcoat it is to say there are moves to be made. There are even cards that are probably ripe for the selling at the moment. There's just much fewer than normal. We're usually used to putting money into cards and then selling them for profit weeks, months later. I think those short-term flip days are gone, and so I'm going to get you over to Card Ladder here. The player of the day is LeBron James. We're looking at LeBron James's index. We're looking at LeBron James's cards. But before we get started on LeBron, let's look at, you might be wondering, are any of LeBron's cards going up? The answer is yes, there are some, and we're going to go find those cards, and we're going to talk about them a little bit. But let's look at the overall index, okay? So we've got basketball is what we're concerned with. It's a basketball channel, down 10.32%. Not good over the last 90 days. Over the quarter, it's down 11%. It's down 1.47% over the month, and it's down 0.02% in a day, which days don't really matter very much to me because there's too much, I guess, deviation and potential for volatility. But let's look at monthly. Yeah, a little bit. And then quarterly specifically, there ain't no hiding that. It is a fact. Basketball is getting murdered. Football is getting murdered. Baseball's down 3%. We're during the season, so that might have a little bit to do with it. But again, we're looking at a quarter. And so, basketball and football, football's been out for probably about a quarter, but basketball has been out for just a matter of days. Hockey is about even. I know there's been a ton of talk about hockey recently. The only 2 sports that are in the green are wrestling and golf. Neither is a sport. One is acting, and the other is a bunch of dudes walking around swinging a club 60 to 70 times every 4 hours. Half of those swings are putts. Maybe if they started running, it would be a sport, but I consider golf a game. Don't get me started on golf, bowling, billiards, and F1. I can't do any of those things at a professional level, but that doesn't make them a sport. That's another topic for another day, and I'm just going to piss people off. So anyway, wrestling and golf are up. Everything else is down. If we look at the low end, the mid end, and the high end, aggregating all of those sports and categories, believe it or not, the high end has taken the worst hit with minus 8.29% to the index. Enough about the general index. There's nothing to see here. It's red. It's terrible. Just assume the worst. And if for whatever reason some of your cards are going up, then just count your blessings because they are in the very, very small minority. So let's hit LeBron. LeBron is not coincidentally down exactly the same as basketball. And that's with a 1,001 data point sample. So LeBron is down minus 10. Well, he's down 10.31% over the last month. LeBron is down, again, almost exactly the same as the general basketball index over the last month. So let's click LeBron James. Let's go to cards. Let's type in PSA 10 because we want to eliminate all the weird raw stuff where a card can go up 9,000% just because somebody either accidentally bought it or accidentally sold it for a penny or had an error in the listing. The cards that have gone down the most, and let's look at the last quarter because these are the cards that we kind of want to look at to make sure there's a sufficient quantity of data points to make an educated analysis that they are in fact truly down. The first card we'll look at is NBA City Hollow. Here it is. We've got it pulled up over here. Hopefully you guys can see this. This is a pop 51 card. There's not that many of them, so it's not a high pop card by any stretch. Are there more than 51 potential candidates for PSA 10 out there? Absolutely. But there's a base version. This is the hollow version. I particularly love these cards. I think these are really good looking cards. There it is, big screen for you right there with LeBron in his Laker uniform. I think they're good looking cards. Hoops is a very, very low end product, but they've got some really cool inserts. Again, this is not the base version. This is the hollow version. You can see it's gone 123.50 in April, 99, 105, and then somebody just stole one. So this could be a one-off. Somebody stole one for 43 bucks. Congrats to that buyer. Again, that was 2 months ago. Would the next one sell for 100 bucks or would it sell for 43? I'm guessing it would probably sell closer to 100 bucks. That's card number one. Card number two is not a small card. Believe it or not, there are people out there who actually want to get animal print bordered Prism cards for whatever reason. So Tiger Stripe is a pretty low pop version. Pretty low pop parallel in 2018 Panini Prism. This card is a pop 22 in PSA 10 condition. There's only 2 data points over the last 3 months because it's such a low pop card. One sold in March for $4,000, and then one sold in April for $1,400. I mean, that is really only a few days away. Damn, that's 8 days apart. Somebody paid $4,000 and somebody paid $1,400. Again, not a lot to go off of. I wouldn't look too much into that. I will say this, I think the next one that sells will probably be around this number. Somebody really went nuts and did something stupid by buying that one. As you can see, there you go. So that's more what I was expecting. Again, will the next one sell for $1,400? I don't think so, because as we've seen, the LeBron market's down 10% over the last 90 days. That was over 2.5 months ago. So my guess is the next one would probably sell right at 1,000, maybe just below. And look, Card Ladder agrees with me. There's the Card Ladder predicted value, 1,083 on your screen. Anyway, that's the card we were looking at. Cool card, just animal print stuff from 2018 Prisms, not my style. The third card that's gone down the most, and this one is a high pop card, a high sample size. People freaked out because Kobe's in the background. Big deal. It's a Kobe Ghost card. LeBron's shooting a layup. It's 2016 Optic. I don't know why people went bananas over this card, but I'll show you the graph over the last 2 years and you'll see it's stupid. Somebody at one point paid $953 for this card. It is a 14th year LeBron Optic base card in PSA 10 condition. It's a pop 1,388. If all of them were graded, it'd be a pop 5,000 easily, pop 20,000 probably. That's just my guess. If we look at the last 3 months, it's down 55.26%, and that's real data. It does undulate a little bit. I guess that probably hinges on the centering for this card, which can be, it's a super noticeable. Even the one that I've got pulled up is not good centering, I don't think. I think if you look up here at the maroon section, it's a little bit thicker on the left than the right for sure. That's just my opinion. But not a big card, so a little bitty card, but yeah, it is down. I mean, the card was $114 3 months ago, and the last one sold for $51, and so I would suspect that trend will continue. If you look at the last month, even that's a glaring down 45%, so nothing surprising about that. Really high pop cards are going down, especially when it's a 14th year base card of a player. LeBron James Base PSA 10 EX rookie card. This one is surprising to me. Let's look at the last 3 months. I had to believe there was only a few data points. So this is just a huge anomaly. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. I bet you anything that card is way up. Yep. So somebody overpaid and reached right here for 15 grand. Again, the card still would have dipped from $10,000 to about $67.51. That's kind of what we're seeing on LeBron cards. There's a look at it. This is a beautiful, beautiful rookie card of LeBron James. I've got this card. I think I have it in a BGS 9. If I didn't sell it, I might have sold it, maybe a year ago. I guess I need to look. I should probably know that. I would know if I had it in a PSA 10 because there's only 31 of them. That's a low pop card. That's not very much money. If you're asking me whether I would rather have this or a PSA 10 Topps Chrome, man, give me the Fleer EX all day long. It's a gorgeous card. It's translucent, transparent, great looking card. PSA 10, pop 31 as opposed to the Chrome, which is pop a zillion. But the card was about $10,430 in July 2 years ago, and the last one sold $6,751. It got even below the 6,000 mark, but over the last 3 months, this card fits in our bill as the fourth biggest loser. Again, only 3 data points, and somebody reached here, so that's a little bit skewed. I wouldn't go too crazy on that. And then this one is going to be a very high pop card. It's pop 414, but I know for a fact I like Mosaic inserts. I really like the way they look. And this is the Mosaic version of the Will to Win, which might be the only version of the Will to Win. In fact, let's look here. No, I guess they got different versions. Okay, so Silver, Mosaic, React. Oh no, okay. Will to Win. I think this might be the only version of the Will to Win. Maybe there's a green one too. I don't know. There's a zillion of these cards out there, so they look cool. It's a great looking pose. I like the card. LeBron, didn't exactly have a Will to Win this year. He did lead the league in scoring, but I don't think he qualified. But if he had the Will to Win, he probably would have finished the season and made the playoffs. But he sat those games out and they missed the play-in. So $31. I mean, it's $30 to grade with PSA. So I don't know what else to say about that. If we look at it over the last year, you could be the guy that paid $90. But the card's a $35 card. This card will never be relevant because there's just too many of them out there. And this is a great example of the types of cards maybe new hobby entrants were buying and grading or buying raw and trying to grade, clean and grade and flip. And, I've done it with cards of similar stature, so I'm not, slinging arrows at people. But those days are over. There's no margins there. PSA is $30 a card. If you get a PSA 10, you're losing money when you consider the price for the raw, shipping, and insurance. It's probably a $1 or $2 card raw. I haven't looked, but it probably is. A PSA 9's not even $10, and nobody wants it. Obviously, the last one sold for 10. So that just kind of gives you an example. That's the 5 cards that have gone down the most. Let's end on a good note. Let's look at the 5 cards that have gone up the most over the last 90 days. A few of these are going to be rookies, I think. Let's see. The first one is a rookie card that I'm not familiar with at all. It's called Upper Deck Top Prospects, Mentors, and Learners. And it's a combination Kobe and LeBron card. He's in his St. Vincent St. Mary's Irish uniform, which is, red flag number 1. People don't dig that. But it's got Kobe Bryant on the card. That is a big thing, and people do dig that. They like these dual cards. It's only a pop 62. I don't know if that's because nobody ever really thought to grade it or if it's a short print card. I just don't know enough about this card to really weigh in an educated perspective. But the card's been all over the place. I mean, how nice would it be to pick it up for $234 or $246? The last one sold for $800. It sold for $795 and $800 in the past. This is a little odd. It's, 4 days later it sold for $340, and then 4 days later it sold for $800. This is where you go into the view all sales deal on Card Ladder, and you can vet this yourself. Maybe somebody hit the bin, button. This is a fixed price. This was an auction. This was an auction, So again, you got to go look at the listings. Maybe the title was bad. Maybe that was the problem. I just don't know. It just depends. So let me go back to... Oh, God, I do this all the time. How do I go back to small screen? There we go. Did I do that right? Yeah, I probably screwed that up. Let's go back. Okay, there we go. Okay, card number 2 on our list is, believe it or not, that should not be in there because that's, I got to change this. Sorry. We're looking at PSA 10s, guys. Sorry. Okay, number 2 on our list and number 3 on our list are both 2019 Prism fireworks. This warms my heart. I'm a huge fan of this fireworks insert. Let's look at the disco. Keeping in mind that the base version has gone up 84% and the disco version has gone up 54%. The disco version is a lower pop card. It's $269. This is what the card looks like. I think it's a really cool card. In fact, this fireworks insert, Prism is not really known for its inserts, but this fireworks insert is one of my favorite looking Prism inserts. Showstoppers is another one going way back. I think it's called Showstoppers if I'm not mistaken. But Fireworks is my favorite. In fact, I've loaded up on a bunch of, I think they're 2015. Maybe it's 2014 or 15. I can't remember. Fireworks Lebron Silvers. They're just really good looking cards. But this is the disco version. Here's what it's done over the last year. Let's look at what it's done over the last 3 months. There it is. You got a few data points here, right? So we've got 8 data points. It started right here at 130, and then a couple of them sold for 60, 70, 80, and then the last one jumped all the way to 200. Is that believable? Probably not, considering it sold for $90 a month ago. 2 days before that, it sold for 90, then it sold for 200. That seems weird to me. Sorry, guys, we're getting a bunch of kind of muddy data. The fireworks base, let's look at that one. This one might be a little more predictable. Again, this one, 530, sold for 30. 612, 13 days later, sells for 57.60. So cards on the uptick, pop 237 for the base and pop 269 for the disco. So similar pops. Next is a card that we know and love, and we've seen this, and it's a PSA 9. That shouldn't count. Sorry, let's skip. Here we go. Another pretty common, super high pop. It is hollow /silver /refractor, but it's the 2019 Optic T-321 hollow. There's a couple of different variations of this card. This one last sold for $58. It's got as low as $26. Look, I know there's a lot of them, but there's a million ways to collect LeBron, and if you're collecting LeBron on a budget, go look at his 2018, 19, 20, and 21 hollow /Prism Silver inserts. They're incredibly cheap. I'm not telling you to go buy them. I mean, it's pop 463 and it could get to 4,063. They're not rare, but that's a good looking card. Let's pull it up on the screen. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. There's a base version, a hollow version. There's gold, there's purple, and all this other stuff in optics. So you got to educate yourself on that. But I think that's a really good looking card. I would like to have one in my collection if I could pick it up for, 40, 50 bucks. The last one sold for 58. They've been selling in the 40, 30, 40, 50 range. The average of the last 19 sales over the last 90 days is $26. I mean, if you can pick up a LeBron James hollow or silver, PSA 10, anything for $26, I like that move if you're a LeBron James collector. Again, if you're just trying to flip cards and make money, this is not the move right now. This is absolutely not the move. And it might not even be the move to pick it up now for your collection at, what it last sold for, $58, because obviously you can see a run up. These cards are not rare, but I think they look good. I like building an army of cards and looking at them in my vault. Some people like to consolidate their collection into less than 25 cards. I don't know. It just depends on who you are. And last card is the 2014 Prism Silver LeBron James. Now, this is a big card. This is a real card. It's not a high pop card. Are these early year Prism Silver LeBron James going to be a deal one day? Is it going to be a thing? I mean, go look at the 96 Topps Chrome Michael Jordan PSA 10. That's a $50,000 plus card. Go look at the go look at the Jordan Chrome refractors. Those are not cheap cards. So this LeBron James card that I just showed you on your screen last sold for $1,100. There's only been 3 data points, but it has been upward, right? So 800, 1,100. Somebody reached for that last one. That's a really good sale, up $300 on the prior 2 sales. Again, I'm guessing we're going to see a camel hump here if I look at 2 years. Or just an absolute catastrophic fall off. So somebody paid $3,200 for theirs. I bought this card, I'm going to say somewhere around here. I bet I paid right at $1,000 for my PSA 10 copy of the 2014 Prism, which I'm absolutely fine with because I'm going to run the Prism Silver Gauntlet in PSA 10 for LeBron. When Fanatics takes over, if they keep making Prism, great. If they cease making Prism, I'm going to have 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, I'm going to do it. I'm going to run it because I'm a nerdy set chaser. It's just what I do. I need closure, so I'm going to do it. I don't mind paying $1,000 because I am very confident in the hobby long term. I plan on holding this card long term. I do have it in my collection. I might have 2 of them. One as an investor, one that I plan to keep long term. I am fine assuming that this card is going to be worth more than $1,000 5 years from now. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm going to look really stupid one day. But when the card's $1,000, there's only so much it can go down. But there's a great deal that it can go up, as you can see, because it was $3,200 here. But again, as a collector, I'm going to sit it and quit it. So I don't really care. And so that's it. That's the last card we're going to look at. But that's kind of what I like to do for you guys. That's another edition of 555. 5 cards up, 5 cards down, 5 minutes on the index. I'm a little bit over. Sorry. So it was like 666. Oh, that was bad. That sounded terrible. Scratch that. Thank you guys for watching. I always like to talk about LeBron James. He's a player that I do PC, so I'm not exactly coming at you from an objective standpoint. I'm going to be a little bit biased, and I always try to tell people when I'm going to be biased. If I'm talking about LeBron James, Giannis, Doncic, Jordan, or who did I leave out? Shaq, I am going to be very biased. Those are the 5 players that I collect long term. I care about those players. I'm sick of tiptoeing around it. If I sound very free-flowing with praise of those 5 players, it's because I collect them, so sue me. It's my channel, but at least everybody knows the perspective that I'm coming from. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all of you who have subscribed. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon for notifications. I got some really great stuff coming out real soon. I've got the mail day of the century coming out for me in the very near future that I can't wait to share with you guys. I can't give you great amount of detail because the deal's not finished, but I'll be able to show you some of the cards that I picked up in the first part of my deal, which has caused me to do a complete overhaul of my collection. Let's just leave it at that, and we'll talk more about that, and I'll kind of explain what I'm doing as far as what I'm selling and what I'm buying. There's very few cards that I think is a good time to sell right now. The ones that I'm selling, I feel like it's a safe time to sell these cards. I'm selling them at a pretty good clip, at a pretty good profit, to a fantastic, dependable, solid buyer who's a huge collector. So I'll kind of tell you guys a little bit more over the next few weeks and months leading up to the National, what I'm kind of doing to transition my collection into some more Michael Jordan cards. You know, he's my primary PC, so that's kind of where my collection's focused right now. Anyway, I wanted to say this. I am going to do a draft video on Thursday night as the draft's going. I'm kind of just going to go through the lottery because I don't want to stay on all night and record, but we're going to watch the lottery unfold. We're going to talk about who was drafted, what their potential is, what my thoughts are on them, and from a card, collector perspective and an investor perspective, as well as how it affects their NBA team that they got drafted by and what their team looks like and what the future might look like for those teams. Just basically me and a good friend of mine who's not a collector but is a huge NBA fan. We're both going to jump on. We're both going to jump on together and just kind of follow the lottery portion of the draft and just give our thoughts on what's going on. So stay tuned for that on Thursday night. Hit the bell icons if you want to watch that. You guys may rather watch the dudes on TV that blow smoke up the butt of all of these prospects, but we'll try to tell it like it is and just call it like we see it. But thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby, and peace.